got a lot of goals, you guys. I got lots of goals. I'm a very goal-driven person. And in this business, goals cost money.
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We're going to do finances part 2 today, because this is the call that I did a couple weeks ago, and I had so many questions. It's actually interesting because the more I talk about something, the more I'm like, man, I'm definitely not alone. Definitely not alone when it comes to mastering the finance part of this business, right? But I'll tell you what, knowing how much money I can gross, knowing that I know how to gross that much money, it pains me to think of how much money I've actually managed to net over the last few years. My first year in real estate I was a part-time, so I didn't really count. My first full-time year in real estate, I actually netted $100,000 my first year. And then it's gone down since there. So I'm not laughing because it's funny, but I'm laughing because it's kind of like, okay, I know I can do it. Like it's proof. That's proof in the pudding. I netted 6 figures. How many of you net 6 figures? Not gross, but net 6 figures. You net 6 figures so you don't spend more than you actually, great. Then you should be talking, not me. Because I'm going to be honest with you that there's maybe 5% of people actually net money in this business. Significant amount of money, by the way. Like when I made $500,000 last year gross, I netted $27,000. And it's because, after you guys are anything like me, it's because so the shiny object syndrome. It's a shiny object syndrome. It's like spend. Oh shit, it's not working. Let's not spend anymore. Oops, I just said a bad word. That's fine. But anyway, so that is part of the reason that I'm on this path of netting. I want to net $500,000, net $500,000. Okay. That's my path. I'm going to gross 1.5, but I want to net 500. I know that's going to seem crazy for now, but it's going to grow as you go. Right. So I want to show you kind of if you're just getting started on this journey, or even if you're an expert at netting 6 figures, great. I want to show you what I'm doing, because you know what, there might be some things that you're not doing that you could learn, or that you are doing that I could learn. So the very first thing that I want you to think about is when is the last time you've gone through and you exported your account history for the last 90 days, and you took a highlighter, and you went through and you highlighted everything that you I have a green, a yellow, and a pink highlighter. A green highlighter, when I do this, my green highlighter is everything that I'm going to keep. That is, my coach. Green highlighter is obviously my website. Green highlighter is obviously my brokerage fees, my NAR dues, all those things. Those are the green highlighter dues, right? The green highlighter things. There are the yellow highlighter where it's do I really need to spend money on this 15,000 subscription to some lead generation service that I don't really use that much? Do I really need to spend, where can I could I potentially take this out of the way? The yellow highlighter is where I go through and I say, okay, things like street text, for example, that becomes a green, because I go through and I actually analyze, because street text is in yellow, right? Do I really need it? Do I really need to pay $160 a month for street text? Yes, I do. You know why? Because I netted $100,000. My ROI on street text last year was insane. So yes, that's a green highlighter. Okay. The red highlighters are the pink, I guess it's red, or if you have red. The pink highlight for me are those things that are absolutely I don't need. How many of you have 100 domains? How many of you just go out and buy domains for everything? You buy a domain. It's not that bad. It's only $15 a year. Okay. You know how many domains I had, you guys? Wendy's laughing because I know Wendy does this. Because Wendy and I are very similar when it comes it's exciting. But when you're spending $15 a year on a bunch of domains that you don't actually use. I hate to say it, it's a waste of money. Waste. The other thing that might really hurt some people is this one. How many of you spend a lot of money on help? You pay a marketing service to help you run your ads. You pay a design service to help you do all your graphic design. You pay whatever. You pay people, professional services to help you. And then you actually take it and you analyze what they're actually doing versus what you could potentially do yourself. And maybe you could train somebody, a VA, to do the exact same thing for you for significantly less money. Here's an example. I had someone managing my social media for me. And managing for me was they would post 3 times a week on 4 platforms, and they would do 5 engagements a week. They would charge me $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month. It's a lot. But for a busy person like me who does a lot of money or does a lot of business, I'm like, okay, that's going to take a lot off my plate. I don't really have to think about the strategy. I don't really have to think, like, they're doing all the work for me. $2,000 a month. Good for them. All they need is, 10 clients, and damn, they got a lot of money coming in. Okay. So you need to do this. You need to go through, and I want you to print out I want you to export your account history. Even if you already net a lot of money, I want you to do this exercise because you are going to find money that you can cut. I did this and I cut, don't even lie, not even laughing. The first time I did this, I cut $10,000 a month in expenses. Lead generation, I cut back. This is actually why I switched from KV Core to Real Geeks. I actually spend money on a website now, but my lead cost is significantly lower, significantly. So for me, it makes sense to pay $350 a month for Real Geeks if I can pay actually less money in Google ads and actually get more leads and actually convert them. It makes more sense. Yeah, I get KV Core for free with EXP. But if it's making my lead cost higher, and I don't know why, if it's making my lead cost higher, what's the point? Right? Wendy's laughing. I look at Wendy's face because she and I have had these conversations many times. Adrian, I'll get to your hand in just a second. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. So this is what you need to do. You need to go through and you need to print out your last 90 days. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to actually pull up what it looked like for me. You guys, it's actually pretty like, okay, this is so eye-opening. When you actually do this exercise, it is so eye-opening to see what you're actually spending. Because here's the deal. You don't know what you're spending unless you're actually tracking it. You don't know what you're eating unless you're actually tracking it. You don't know what you're actually accomplishing when you're exercising unless you're actually tracking it. Okay. We all track, I should hope. We track how many phone calls we make. We track how many leads come in. We track everything. You have to track because if you don't track, you don't know where the progress is being made. So when it comes to your finances, that is the first thing that you got to do. You got to track the finances. And if you can't track it in all places, at least track it in one. And that has got to be business, in my personal opinion, because business is where the money's going to come in. And then if you can learn how to track your business expenses, you're going to easily learn how to track your personal expenses. Easily. So I'm going to show you kind of what this looked like for me when I did this. I went through and I did an export of all of my finances. And I went through and I was like, wow, look at all of this. I mean, this is just a ton. This is longer, way longer. You can see I went through after I did the exercise and exported everything, highlighted everything. I mean, you could do it online too with highlighters here. But I went through, I was like, okay, so here are some things that I need to cancel. Need to upgrade because if I upgrade, it's going to save me money. Like Follow-Up Boss, for example, which is, I got to change that cost, but Follow-Up Boss, for example, it saves me a significant amount of money if I do it on an annual basis. I get 2 months for free. Significant money. That's for me because I have the team account at $500 a month. So it saves me $1,000 if I upgrade to the annual. Does that make sense? So need to upgrade, cancel. What is going on here? Why do I have so many GoDaddy domains? I need to call it. I need to figure this out. I need to figure out what's going on here. Cancel, downgrade. Keeping current matters. I ended up finally canceling because I don't actually need keeping current matters. Cancel. You guys, it felt so good. It felt so great to go through and cancel. Like I'm like saving money. Wendy just put in the comments, Apple charges. That is another one. You pay for all your apps, right? Some of them are business apps. Like I realized I was paying for 3 or 2 QuickBooks subscriptions. One for this QuickBooks Self-Employed, because that's what I was at one point using to track my mileage. Okay. And before I became an S Corp, I used QuickBooks Self-Employed. I became an S Corp and upgraded my QuickBooks account and never canceled the old one. So for however long I was paying, I don't even know, there's like 2 years, I was paying 2 QuickBooks subscriptions. Okay. So once you do that, once you actually export all your finances and you go through and you start canceling that, you're going to start feeling this sense of empowerment. Like, woo, I freaking got this. I can do this. And it feels so good. And then you start to become a little bit more confident when people try to sell you more stuff. I don't know how many phone calls you get a day or how many emails you get a day or how many messages you get a day. You want to buy leads? It's only a referral fee. We'll charge you once you close. We'll do this for you. Blah, 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 blah. It's insane. And, you know, if you don't really know how much you're spending and you're not really thinking about it, it's a lot easier to say yes. It really is. But if you're actually watching your money and you're actually paying attention to what you're spending on a regular basis, for me, it's a weekly basis. If you're a little bit further along in this journey, it might be a little bit longer. I've heard sometimes people now look at their finances on a quarterly basis. I will one day get there to where I don't really have to pay attention until every quarter. But it's a lot easier to say no. How many of you have heard, I know because this is recorded, I'm so afraid of this company coming after me. There is a company out there who sells magazines. Okay, they're all over Facebook, and you can buy into this magazine and, you know, they'll go ahead and send it to your top 50 people, you know, every quarter or whatever. Okay. They are relentless about following up. Relentless. Good for them. Good for them. We should all take something from that. But I was at this point, I was like so tired of them calling. I was like, sure, I'll sign up. So then I signed up and I just paid like the sign-on fee, which is only $99. Only $99. You know what? You know how many leads $99 is? $99 is a lot of leads. It's like 6 leads. Could be one deal. I spent $99. And then you have to pay to actually send the subscription out. So now that I paid for the joining fee, now they call me every month to remind me to send my subscription out. And I still haven't sent a subscription out because once you do, you can't cancel. But now it's a lot easier for me to say no. If I had been doing this when they first called me, I'd have been like, no, hard no, 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 no. Because the reality is, you guys, we don't need all of the things that are out there. You don't need all of them. You need to find those things that you're actually paying for that you actually need. Like for me, I learned that I actually need street text. I've done A/B tests, and I've run the same ads that I run on street text from my own ads manager. Same way. Street text has better performance for me. That's a need. I need that. Right? Do I need to spend all the other money on all the other Facebook lead generations? Probably not. Do I do well enough with organic? Yes. Am I capable of actually producing more organic business? Absolutely. Does organic business cost me as much? No. What I don't need is someone to help me connect with my past clients. I don't need that. Right? I don't. All I need is a system. I need a system in place, a time, a schedule, a regimented time to connect with my past clients. I need to have my quarterly, if I want to have a quarterly touch base. And I don't have to buy them anything. I can do a touch base with a thank you card. I can do a touch base with a phone call. I can do a touch base with a pop-by. I can do a touch base if I want with a gift, a big giant gift. Right? But you need to find those things that are costing you all that extra money and cut them out. All the extra domains. I'm telling you, that was my number one, like, woohoo, I figured it out. It's kind of funny because yesterday I just finished this awesome, like system that I've been trying to like nail down for forever. And I was on my accountability call with Brittany, and Brittany was like, okay, we were talking about it. I was like, wait a second, I just figured it out. And so I just did it. I just got it all figured out. I got the Zap. I got everything all set up yesterday. And then I was like, ooh, should I buy a domain for this? Like legitimately ask Brittany. I said to her, should I buy a domain? She's like, yeah, why not? And I'm like, oh, wait a second. Do I need a domain? No. Can I do a bit.ly and like make it look almost like just like a domain? Absolutely. Absolutely. And bit.ly can track exactly what I want it to track for me. I don't need a domain. I don't need to spend extra $17. So that is where we need to start. So if you're trying to figure out how to net more money, I don't care what that number is. I don't care if that number is $5,000. I don't care if you want to net 100,000 more. Like whatever it is, you can't do it if you don't know what you're spending. Adrian, your hand has been up and you've been waiting so patiently. What's up?
So, in all fairness, what I wanted to say is I don't know how long all of you have been in the business, but netting what you netted in the beginning is a result of starting. And usually you input all the effort, you're solo, you hit the ground running, etc. You don't go looking for all these other things that are going to help you. So you net a high amount as you start. And then you start being hounded, or you do your own research by all these other things to grow your business to $500,000, and yet you net 27. That's just part of the learning curve. And then the exercise that you're doing now is going to net you the $500,000 because you can take your business to $1.5 million. And I'm just saying this for those that are starting, because that is the natural learning curve. Having said that, you can track your things from the beginning and be very conscious of, should I do street text and Google PPC, and how many leads am I getting and how much am I closing and what are they worth? And if you control that as you're starting to grow, then it helps you not go overboard. But to me, what you just talked about is just the natural learning curve of the business.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is with any business that you do. It's understanding. You got to understand, but it's a natural learning curve of pretty much everything in life. I'm just going to put that out there. Everything. I go back to health and fitness a lot because it's so prominent in my life. And it is like, to me, it's like, I got that mastered. Okay. When my coach first told me that I had to start tracking my food, I was so pissed off. Why? Because I like to eat. And I thought that tracking my food would take away my enjoyment for food. It would take away my enjoyment for exercise, because I love exercise. It is insane. Talk to me in person. You will know I am not joking. I love to exercise. Fun for me is getting out and being active. Fun for me is not sitting around and going to an art museum. Fun for me is not drinking. Fun for me is not that. Fun for me is being active. Take me anywhere and let me go hiking. Let me walk. Let me see. Let me swim. Let me do whatever. I love it. So when someone told me that I had to track, I was pissed, because I was like, okay, so now I actually have to like track my fun, right? It's going to take the fun away. I like to spend money. I love spending money. It makes me feel good. Spending money makes me feel good. But the shift is now with my diet and exercise, now I can actually go out and enjoy a dinner, or I can splurge on a nice meal, or I can eat that cookie or that piece of pie or that piece of cake, and I don't feel bad about it. Because now I understand that it's under control. Right? I know what I'm eating every other time, every other minute of the day. So the time that I have a piece of pie, no big deal. I mean, it might make me feel gross because my body doesn't like sugar very much, but that's fine. It's worth it. It's the same with money, because now I know, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, hey, I'm not really spending a ton. I'm saying no, I'm saying no, I'm saying no, I'm saying no, I'm saying no. But the money that I do spend is intentional. The money that I do have aside now, I mean, these are for all the goals. I got a lot of goals, you guys. I got lots of goals. I'm a very goal-driven person. You may have figured that out. I'm very highly driven by goals. And in this business, goals cost money. Katrina.
Good morning. You know what, you share so much, and you know how much I love you. I'm like, I just like, what now, Lynea, do I need to go and look? Because from the two of you, I learned so much of like, I need to do this system and this system. Have you shared already the tracking sheet that you use to track like your cost per lead?
My what? My cost per lead?
Your cost per lead, like all the different systems you use for cost per lead. Can you share that, or do you have a system that you do for that?
So right now, my system is very manual. It's a spreadsheet. I can share it with you. Yeah, I can share it with you.
Yeah, because that's where I feel like I pay for HomeSnap for every listing. I'm like, is that actually getting me anything?
No,
or
stop that right now. I'm just telling you, cut that. Cut it. Cut it. Especially because you're in Krista's coaching, like you know how to market way better than HomeSnap can do for you. Stop. Cut that.
Okay. Gotcha. Stop. All right. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
There, look, there's one thing done. Okay.
Right. There you go. So like I can share that with you, but I'm going to tell you that like the biggest thing, like you just said, Katrina, is understanding what is actually what is giving you the most. But you really got to start with understanding what you're actually spending, right? And then I think it makes it easier to look, because for me, it was kind of a big shocker. I was like, holy cow, I spent how much on that? And I'm like, oh, what is the return on that? And the worst thing about the domain thing, I keep going back to this domain thing, because I had like 50. I'm not joking.
I have 78.
Yeah.
So
And how many do you actually use? And how many have you paid for over the years? Because we all have this great idea, go out and buy a domain. Because I actually think someone, I don't know who it was, but someone had one time said, buy all the domains in your city. Okay, but that's going to make my squirrel syndrome even worse, because now, like, I'm trying to focus on one thing. I didn't think that includes a domain, right? So I did buy a domain recently, thedreammethod.com, because guess what all my marketing's about? Guess what my system is? Guess what my focus is? Thedreammethod.com. And then the other thing, I just saw someone in here put something like, they have a bunch of things on auto renew. Yeah, Donna said I had a bunch on auto renew. I turned everything off auto renew. All of my domains except for LyneaCarver.com, EastPierceHomes.com, EastPierceCountyHomes.com, and TheDreamMethod.com. Everything else is off. And then that gives me an email, and I get like 8 emails about it. And then I go in and I check. The other thing I'm going to give you a big learning lesson is all your little like subscriptions, your Zoom subscription. I'm going to tell you, if any of you use Google and you pay Google Suite, okay, I pay $60 a month to Google Suite. Google Meets is included, by the way. It's included, and it's video conferencing.
Lynea, another idea that I've had and that I've implemented in the past to get to your $1.5 million sales but netting 500,000 is on your spreadsheet. You should also evaluate what you are worth.
Yep.
What is your time worth? So if you're putting in 10, 12 hours a day, and those hours are worth $500, you tally them up and you put them on an expense sheet. That's how you get to the $500,000. We tend to forget that our time has value and we don't account for it.
I 100% agree with you, Adrienne. And that is the hardest lesson I think that I've had to learn. And I know that I talk to a lot of other people, and that's a hard lesson, is hiring help. Hiring help. It's scary because you're like, well, now I got to pay somebody else to do something when I could just do it myself. But the reality is, the more time you spend doing those admin-y tasks, the less time you're spending producing more volume.
And you're expensive. You are expensive. Whereas somebody else can perform certain tasks at a much more affordable rate. So if you say I'm worth $500 and you're doing postings on Facebook and destining, 2 or 3 hours a week, well, that's 2 or 3 hours at $500 that you already expended. And we never account for that. It's true.
And to also go into that a little bit more, Adrienne, this is great. I love it. To go into that a little bit more, what I hear is like posting, like scheduling posts and posting on Facebook. I mean, that is a VA task, you guys. I hear so many objections. But you don't want to hire someone to do it because you got to teach them. How do you pass it off? What if they mess up? What if that, blah, 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 blah. Is it worth your time to like record what you're doing do a Loom screen record? Or if you don't have Loom and you don't have BombBomb, let me give you a big secret. Google Meets and Zoom also record screen. So You don't need to have a fancy extension, Chrome extension for Loom or BombBomb. You can record with Zoom if you have Zoom, and everyone can get a free Zoom subscription, by the way. Zoom is free if you want to spend 40 minutes. But I learned the hard way that you have to give them a 30-day notice to cancel. So I just paid another year subscription for something I don't use. The only time I use Zoom is when I'm on other people's calls. Internally, anytime someone has a call with me, we're on Google Meets. Because then it saves it automatically in my Google Drive, which, by the way, saves time from having to download and then upload. Okay, so guess what? We're saving more. Carol.
Can you record on Google Meets?
You can record on Google Meets, and Google Meets offers you a transcription. So if you want to make SOPs, by the way, I'm giving you guys a lot of secrets right now because I'm telling you, I am all about time. If you record on Google Meets, by the way, it automatically, there's an option that you can select that says record transcription. Then guess what? How many of you want to create SOPs so you can easily transfer your work to a VA or to someone else to help you? But you're like, I don't know what to do. Well, just record it. And guess what? Let Google Meets pick up the transcription. And there you go. You have a recording and you have a written process. Voila. I just saved you a ton of time. Loom also does a transcription too. Mindy, hi.
Hi, good morning. Okay. Why do I feel like you're just talking to me here? Okay.
Because we know each other way too well.
Because that's what she does to us.
Okay, about Google Meets. I'm thinking about it. If I have a domain, which you know I do, can I point it to Google Meets?
No. And then you got to get over that. I'm sorry. You got to get over it. I did the same thing because I love my domain Zoom with Lynea, but guess what? Zoom with Lynea costs me money. So there's extra money, and my Zoom subscription, that's extra money. Like my Zoom subscription is $160 a year or whatever. And then my Zoom with Lynea is what, $20 a year. That's $180. How many leads can the $180 buy you? How many gifts can you buy for clients at $180? How many cards can you send out for $180? $180 is a lot of money. So you got to get over that.
Dang it, Lynea.
You can use the same Zoom link though.
You can. It's really challenging.
Yes.
You can. It's really challenging.
No, it's not. You just create one. I believe it's just one meeting, and you use the same meeting ad all the time.
Yes, that's true. But I think what Wendy's asking is, can you direct like a domain to that meet? And you can't.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because you're right. Because I do the same thing. We have like a permalink where we do like all of our team meetings are on the same link all the time. And so that way they go into a folder on my Google Drive. By the way, Wendy, this is another reason why Google Meets is awesome, because you can organize them into folders automatically on your Google Drive. So guess what? Now you're saving money. You're saving money and saving time.
And so if it's the same link every week, why can't you forward your domain to that link?
Google Meets doesn't have like an HTTPS.
Oh,
yeah. So, I mean, try it. If you can, tell me I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong.
yeah.
But that was I'm going to be honest with you. That was a big objection for me, Wendy. When I switched to Google Meets, that was my biggest objection. Well, I really like Zoom with Lynea. It's really easy to use.
Well, and the thing is it's not about me. It's about people. Right. And people need easy. They don't need codes. They don't need logins.
But most people have a Gmail. I think Gmail is the number one email provider.
I have a call. Sorry. See you guys.
Bye. Lenny.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. So how much would you budget for like someone doing your like editing videos and even posting them for you?
Well, here's the deal. I've gone through so many iterations of this, and I think it depends on what kind of video you're doing, and it depends on what platforms they're going on. So the reason I say that is because YouTube videos are very different than videos that go on social content. So if you want someone to edit YouTube videos, you're going to have to probably pay a little bit more. I think when I first started getting into YouTube, I was paying someone $1,500 a month to edit my YouTube videos. Just insane. And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine because they're People charge, like, you guys, videographers are really, really expensive. They want to charge you like $300 a video. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like they have an expertise, but if you're actually shooting the content yourself, hire a VA, by the way, who specializes in video editing. $8 an hour. That's what I would budget. So, and here's the deal. Like you understanding what you're spending and understanding like where we didn't get into this business. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I can't speak for everybody. I'm assuming I speak to a lot of agents. So I'm assuming that no one on this call got into this business to run on a hamster wheel all the time. And I'm actually like, I hear so many people say they want to get into the business because they want a flexible schedule. They want time to themselves, work life. You get in, you realize, well, you learn to become what you do, right? You learn that my life, like this is part of my life. It's my lifestyle, right? And when I want to shut it off, I shut it off completely. In fact, I was at the river with my friends the other day, and my friend was trying to network. She's trying to get me some leads. I love it. But she looked at this guy, and this guy started asking me. She told him what I do, and he started asking me about the real estate market. And I looked at him. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm off. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it right now. And he's like, really? And I was like, 100%. I do not want to talk about it right now. I said, I'd be happy to talk to you about it at a different time, but right now, I'm not here. I'm me right now. And I got to tell you, it's so empowering to do that. But when you're scrambling all the time because you're just trying to feed, like Adrienne said, like, because you're starving, right? When you're scrambling and you're starving, you don't want to turn it off. You want to talk about it all the time. But I got to tell you, it is so empowering when I'm like, no, leave me alone. My phone had no service when I was at the river. I had 2 seconds of service that Aaron called me because Aaron was awesome. And he went and picked up some signs for me. And he calls me like, hey, can you talk? I'm like, I think so right now. And I was like, can you go pick up those signs? He's like, yes. Dud. Phone is dead completely. And I was like, oh my God, the only thing I thought about when I was down at the river with no service is which of my friends had service on their phone that I could send him a quick text message. And it worked. And it was done. But I got to tell you, when I'm starving and when I'm scrambling and when I'm in a hamster wheel, it is never off. It can't be. I can't afford it because I have too much money going out. Katrina.
Lynea, you just reminded me, I had to teach my sphere that too, especially like my family, because they're so in the mindset of we need money. And I'm like, we're good. So I don't have to be available just because your friend wants to talk about buying a house or refinancing or whatever, like right now. Right. So I'm like, here's my calendar link. They can get them, but no. So that is something that I had to teach them. And then also going back to when you were talking about hiring someone, the conversation we had last week or the week before about hiring the right person for that, my new assistant has changed my business dramatically. And my previous assistant, I loved her, but for 2.5 years, I had her in the wrong position.
Yep. So when you have someone doing the wrong thing, it also, to Adrienne's point, it costs money. So, we can talk on hiring. We can talk on all of this, like maybe on another call, like we could even do it next week if you want, but I can share with you a lot of the mistakes I've learned. I've made a lot of mistakes in hiring, a lot, tons. I've hired the wrong people. I've hired people into roles when I was like, maybe I didn't need to hire that person in the role. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made some really good things in hiring as well. Lots of really good ones. But I'll tell you,
that would be a great session. Yeah. Because I think the definition of the position is key. I always say you don't know a doer until they're doing. So I just give them a certain amount of time to prove that, I am the right fit for them. They're the right fit for me, and they're going to give me the results. But I have found over the years that you have to be very punctual and how you define the position. So that would be a great session. I think we would all partake from that.
Okay, well, let's do it. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the content ideas. Okay, so we're over time. Thank you all for being here and for sticking on a little bit longer today. If you have any questions or anything, we're all here to help. See you next week.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.